Grab your broomsticks and overpriced popcorn buckets. I just finished Wicked for Good and I'm over here like,
I'm in a glass case of emotion!
It's been over a year since Wicked defied gravity, becoming a box office hit, so I thought it would be fun to take a look at the sequel and all its hidden connections to both Wicked and the original Wizard of Oz. So pretend I'm the Yellow Brick Road and follow me as we take a deep dive into the film. And yes, the puns will get worse. The spectaculicious ending of Wicked for Good is really the beginning we saw all the way back in the first movie. It starts in black and white, a nod to the original Wizard of Oz, before turning into fantastical Technicolor. This time, however, we have answers to the first film's biggest questions. Who's this mystery person galloping away from the castle? How does this connect to Dorothy? Is Ariana Grande still dating SpongeBob? Whereas The Wizard of Oz tells its story through the eyes of Dorothy, Wicked for Good shows them through Elphaba and Glinda. We are looking at things from a different perspective, kind of like when Elfie tells Fiyero not to lie about her being ugly, to which he responds, "It's not lying, it's looking at things in another way." We, the viewer, are not being lied to, we are simply viewing a story we know and love, but in another way. Wicked begins, or should I say ends, with the aftermath of Elphaba's death. This is Kiama Ko, one of Fiyero's family castles in Winky Country. We can see the pail of water, propaganda flyers created by the wizard, a map of Oz, just like we see in the stage production before the show starts, and Elfie's iconic hat. A hat that originally belonged to Glinda's grandmother and was given to Elphaba as a prank, but now it stands as a symbol of her strength and determination. Starting the film off with this hat is a fun homage to the stage production, which originally had a giant black hat in its opening number. Fun fact, the hat caused some controversy among Oz purists, as the movie version has it pointing forward rather than backward like the musicals. A deliberate choice symbolizing Elphaba moving forward into the future. Director John Chu stated that filming Elphaba with the hat was a technical headache, as it was so tall it made framing a nightmare. Outside of Kiama Ko, we'll pass a rainbow, which is not only a nod to Dorothy's classic song, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, but to a flashback we see of Glinda in For Good, where a young Glinda lies to her friends, saying that she conjured one. In the film version, Glinda does not possess any magical powers. Her flying bubble is merely a mechanical invention created by the wizard. In fact, much of what keeps Oz together is a lie, including the wizard himself, who's a fraud. A carnival con man, the wizard made his way to Oz via a hot air balloon. In For Good, it's revealed he's Elphaba's father, when Elfie leaves behind a vial of magical green elixir. This is something she always kept on her as a memento of her dead mother. It also happens to be one of the wizard's favorite drinks, and the one he drank the night he conceived Elphaba many years ago, which might explain her green complexion. The wizard being Elfie's father is one foreshadowed back in the first movie. We'll see he wears a carnival barker hat and outfit. He came from a carnival. Plus, his song A Sentimental Man talks about how he always longed to be a father.
I am a sentimental man who always longed to be a father.
Elfie unknowingly craves the acceptance of her father, as in the song The Wizard and I, she'll state, "And with the wizard, my whole life will change, 'cause once you're with the wizard, no one thinks you're strange." It's Madame Morrible who believes the reason Elphaba has such immense power is that she's the child of both worlds, ours and Oz. When the camera zooms over Munchkinland, we'll hear the song No One Mourns the Wicked, which is a minor key distortion of Ding Dong the Witch is Dead. So we have a song celebrating the witch's death with the Munchkin celebration after the death of the Wicked Witch of the East. Speaking of which, we have the rise of Nessa Rose. We'll see her as she transforms into the Wicked Witch of the East. Although it's only been a year between the Wicked movies releasing, in our story, roughly 5 years have passed since the events of the first film. In that time, Elphaba's legal father, Frexpar Throp, has died, and Nessa Rose has taken over as governor of Munchkinland. Who was once a kind and loving girl has let the wickedness of the world corrupt her. This wickedness stems from her own insecurity and desperate need to be loved. Terrified that her love Bok, a Munchkin of Munchkinland, will leave her, Nessa Rose strips the Munchkins of their rights, banning them from leaving Munchkinland in an attempt to trap him there with her. When Nessa Rose learns Bok intends on leaving her for good, she casts a spell from the Grimmery, not exactly knowing what she's doing. This causes his heart to shrink, and it's actually Elphaba who turns him into the Tin Man to save his life. Nessa Rose's shoes also become the infamous ruby slippers. Originally given to Nessa Rose in Part 1, these silver shoes contain arches in the shape of rainbows with tornado spiral heels, foreshadowing her own death. It'll be Dorothy's house that lands on her in Munchkinland, a result of a tornado. In the original book, these slippers are silver, but the 1939 film changed it to ruby as the creators wanted to show off the use of color in the film. Wicked for Good shows us how they went from silver to ruby. Elphaba casts a spell on them that allows Nessa Rose to levitate, and, in the process, turns them red. The film also shows us the origins of Dorothy's two other compatriots, the Cowardly Lion and Scarecrow. We actually got a glimpse of the Cowardly Lion in Part 1. He was the cub that was caged at Shiz. Through propaganda, he believes Elphaba a cruel animal experimenter. She turned the monkeys into these terrifying flying monsters after all. But it's Fiyero who suffers one of the film's most tragic outcomes. This is a man torn between the woman everyone wants him to be with and the woman he truly wants. On their wedding day of all days, Fiyero leaves Glinda to live with Elphaba, knowing full well that as long as Elphaba is alive, the two of them will never be safe. This is when the two of them devise a plan to fake her death. In fact, it's Elphaba herself who pours the bucket of water that will eventually be her downfall. The plan is to have Dorothy melt her with this water while a hidden trapdoor conceals her true whereabouts. Dorothy will then bring her broomstick to the wizard, proving the witch is dead. Glinda herself is not privy to this plan and watches her best friend die in front of her. Elphaba knew it was best not to tell her. It was for her own protection. If it were found out Glinda knew, she could be branded wicked too. The less people who know make it safer. Plus, if Glinda knew, the song For Good would lose its meaning. Elphaba also makes Glinda promise not to tell the people the truth. Perhaps there's some truth to what the wizard said about having a common enemy. It brings people together. Elphaba and Glinda need this lie in place to solidify Glinda's plan to turn Oz good. The lie allows her to kick the wizard out, have Morrible arrested, and restore rights to the animals. It reminds me of a saying my father often quoted. It's sometimes better to be good than to be right. Glinda could have done the right thing and told the truth. Instead, she chose to do the good thing, even though it was a lie. Fiyero, having been caught by the Gale Force, Oz's military and police squad, is brutally beaten. Elphaba can sense his pain and, in a moment of desperation, begins chanting a spell to ensure his flesh wouldn't be torn and his bones wouldn't break, effectively turning him into the Scarecrow. Not that one. The real villain in Wicked has to be Madame Morrible. No wonder her name rhymes with horrible. It's revealed that she was the one responsible for the tornado that kills Nessa Rose and brings Dorothy to Oz. Additionally, she spearheads the propaganda machine against Elphaba, oppresses animals, and exploits her students, especially Glinda. For much of For Good, Glinda is a puppet of the wizard and Madame Morrible. Even her marriage with Fiyero was spurred in part by her. But deep down, Glinda was a slave to herself and the adoration she craves from others. In Wicked Part 1, Glinda values popularity above all else. There's even a whole song about it. She sees goodness as an aesthetic, something you wear, like a pink dress or smile. Magic becomes a tool for social climbing instead of actually creating change. Her good is more performative and not the type of good one does if it costs them everything. The song Popular is all about Glinda trying to change Elphaba, but at the end of For Good, it's Elphaba who has changed Glinda. The outcast she once tried to fix is the one who fixed her. When we leave Glinda at the end of For Good, she's the most powerful woman in the land, but somehow the most isolated. She's gone from the girl who wanted everyone to look at her to the woman who must watch over everyone else. There's also a distinct change from the stage production which involves the Grimoire, an ancient spellbook that only those with true magical abilities, like Elphaba, can read. While on her balcony, the Grimoire opens and seemingly activates for her. This suggests that her journey of change has made her worthy of the book, allowing her to truly transform from the girl who wished she could use magic to one worthy of wielding it. Elphaba's character arc is almost the opposite of Glinda's. Whereas Glinda starts off accepted, Elphaba desperately wants to be accepted, even stating in the song The Wizard and I that if she could just meet the wizard, he'd see her talent and fix her green exterior. In Part 1, she believes in the socio-political system that governs Oz, but that's quickly shattered when she finds out the wizard is a fraud and the government is systematically suppressing the rights of animals. Part 2 sees something has changed within her. She rebels against this system even if it means being perceived as wicked. In the song No Good Deed, she comes to the realization that all her good deeds have caused pain, and even though they were done in the name of good, she can't change people's perceptions of her. For example, she tried to stand up for Dr. Dilliman's rights, but this resulted in him being dragged away in silence. She tried to help her sister, but she ends up with a house on top of her. Her good intentions don't matter, only the results, so she decides to stop fighting her own morality and instead embraces the monster the world wants her to be. It's Fiyero who retrieves Elphaba from her hidden chamber, and the two head off to a place beyond Oz. This was the same place the animals were headed when Elphaba tries to stop them from leaving. In early drafts of the musical, this was known as the Badlands, and the place looks pretty barren. One can only hope there is something better beyond the sand. Now I want to cover a few bonus details I didn't get to in the video. The Our Wizard Lies Written in the Sky by Elphaba is a twist on the Wicked Witch's Surrender Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. Elphaba says Dorothy's line, "I'm off to see the wizard."
I'm off to see the wizard.
And the film's new song title is No Place Like Home, the line Dorothy says while clicking her heels. Glinda and Elphaba's battle in Munchkinland is a rehatch of the sparring they did at Shiz. The actress who plays Glinda's mother was a former Elphaba from the London stage production. I'm sure there are much more details I missed. I literally just came back from the theater to write this, so let me know your favorites and what you thought about the show in the comments below. Thanks for watching, be sure to like and subscribe, and for more bad takes you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at ThinkStoryYT. Until next time, remember,
Daddy loves you very much.